Florida sunshine attracts tennis players from all over the world. 16-year-old Jelena Jankovic emigrated from Yugoslavia after she was talent spotted by a sports agency. She is now educated at home with time to benefit from better facilities than back in Belgrade.
Now it's winter and we have not so good facilities there. We have just a few courts with the cover. Sometimes no electricity, so it's very cold and difficult to play.
Jelena has already won the prestigious Australian Open for juniors and is determined to succeed on the senior circuit. 13-year-old Tatiana Golovin from France has also come to Florida to train for a career in professional tennis. The sport is opening up a new world for her.
Well, my life changed a little bit because now I'm in Florida and it's a great place. And I just have so many opportunities right now to travel a lot, meet new people. So I'm really happy the way it changed.
Both Tatiana and Jelena are on the fringes of a highly competitive world that offers huge rewards, but many kinds of pressures for players and their families. As Jelena's mother understands.
They must sacrifice one part of their childhood. But in the other hand, when they choose something which they like, it's a big difference. For me, the most important thing for the parents, if they see that their children are happy, we are happy also.
Some of the parents, they push their kids too much and the kids have a lot of pressure, to play tennis, but my parents don't. I just play because I enjoy to play tennis and I want to, one day become a big player, so that's my goal.
Jelena is the kind of player who thrives on the challenge of competition.
When you play every match, you have pressure, because you want to win, and in some matches there's very tough points, so you have to really mentally, just believe in yourself and never say that you're not going to do well, just think positive.
But there are times when any player, amateur or professional, just can't control their nerves or their emotions. It can affect their whole game.
Sometimes I get mad, I scream or I just get mad, but like I take a deep breath or something, I don't know, I just try to calm myself down.
In the Orange Bowl Championship, Tatiana came up against 17-year-old Russian Vera Zvonareva. With victory just in sight, Tatiana lost her commanding lead and her confidence failed her.
Since I was leading 4-1 in the second, I kind of really got disappointed because I was actually leading 6-5 and I lost 40 love. It's really hard because you're thinking about the last set that you played.
The Russian girl clearly felt the pressure too, but she managed to regain emotional control and went on to win the girls' under-19 tournament. Pressure takes many forms in tennis. The huge prize money at stake, fear of failure, or the desire to please sponsors, parents, coaches, and the crowds. When Pat Cash came through as a junior, Australian tennis was at a low point and looking out for a hero.
I felt Australia was watching me all the time, and I had a lot of support from my parents, but of course I felt naturally as a teenager I felt pressure from them, but it was nothing compared to what some of the kids go through now.
When a player feels overwhelmed by pressure, they become anxious and their technique breaks down.
For me, my legs get a bit like jelly or lead. They don't seem to move very well. Even though physically I would say, oh no, I'm fresh or whatever, I'm bouncing around and I'm trying to get on my toes, I just don't seem to be in the right position.
In tennis, it's known as choking. It's a familiar enough complaint according to tennis psychologist Jim Lair.
That's the way you metabolize stress. That's how you handle it.
He believes that stress can be tackled scientifically because it provokes a hormonal reaction that affects a player's ability to concentrate and relax.
When an athlete in tennis is really pressed, they feel a tightness in their arms and their hands. They feel like they don't move as well. They don't think as clearly. They're not as spontaneous. They feel like somehow everything is kind of labored. They never can be kind of free-flowing. We call it their ideal performance state, kind of gets stuck.
Lair coaches an elite squad of young professionals at his center in Orlando. With the help of a team of fitness trainers, coaches and nutritionists, he arms players with all the tools they need to deal with pressure. His slogan, mentally tough.
We have to approach the person as a totality. They have body, they have mind, and they have spirit, and they're all connected to their ability to perform well under pressure.
It's fitness first. A tennis player may run 6 miles or 9.5 kilometers during a match, much of that at sprint pace. 20-year-old Candice de la Torre is undergoing a health and nutrition checkup. Tennis involves many short bursts of activity. Candice tests her fitness on a machine which measures her body's ability to convert oxygen in the bloodstream into energy. Her VO2 max. A good diet is necessary to replace lost strength. Candice is weighed and measured. Nutritionist Raquel Crocker enters the statistics into a computer attached to a futuristic machine called a bod pod.
Okay, you ready? Here we go.
By measuring how much air she displaces, the bod pod can give an overall body fat reading.
Okay, we got that in 2 readings.
Candice scores well on the bod pod.
Behind you. All right. Your result was 25.9% body fat. You want to be less than 30%, and very good athletes that are in very good shape are around 24%, so you're very close to that percentile. Okay? I'm going to print this off for you. What I'm going to talk to you about is the importance of getting carbohydrates while you play.
Analysis reveals that Candice has been cutting back on carbohydrates to lose weight as she recovers from injury.
Even for people that are not athletes, it's not a good way to lose weight because you're putting in such little carbohydrate into your body that your body almost goes into this kind of starvation mode, and what you tend to burn the most when you do that is your own muscle mass. Okay. So that's...
Candice is drinking enough water, so Raquel recommends that some of this intake should be carbohydrate-rich power drinks.
Measure out 2.5 scoops of this, put into 32 ounces of water, and that's how much you would have per hour of play.
Once the body is strong, Lair works on a player's mind, encouraging techniques such as visualization.
Mental preparation is a very important part of being a very mentally tough competitor. The preparation usually involves some kind of very carefully orchestrated visualization and imagery, where a person works out in advance precisely what it is they want to accomplish and how they intend to respond to certain forces that they are anticipating will be there. If you visualize yourself being successful in a particular venue, it's almost as if it's being stored as if this has occurred, even though logically you know this was just fantasy. This, we've learned, is a very unique feature of how the human brain has been wired and designed.
Visualization worked for Pat Cash when he found himself facing the most important moment of his career in 1987. Through to the final of Wimbledon, he was facing the formidable Ivan Lendl.
The thing that I found really beneficial was actually going through a lot of it in my mind the day before I walked out in the court. When I walked out in the court, I felt like I'd been there a little bit, and I played the match over and over and over in my head. I imagined walking out in the court, the centre court, for the final, and the crowd roaring. The atmosphere is just completely different.
When it came to play the match, Cash experienced just one moment of crisis.
The only one time I had a doubt in my mind was when I was in the tiebreaker in the first set, and I'd really focused on getting that first set under my belt, and then I believed I'd get on top of Lendl and win, and I think I was up about 6-2 in the tiebreaker, so I had like 4 set points, and he whittled it down to 6-2, 6-3, 6-4, 6-5, and I had my one chance here, the one serve, and I picked out a spot on the court. and I focused on it, and I hit the exact spot that I wanted to hit, and he did exactly what I was hoping he'd do. He took a big swing, and he mishit it, hit it into the side stand, got the first set under my belt, and I was on my way.
Back in Orlando, Zimbabwean Cara Black, number 58 in the women's rankings, is doing her final training for the Australian Open. When Cara feels under pressure, she tends to speed up her game too much. Jim Lair teaches her to make the most of every second on court, as only 30% of match time is actually spent hitting a ball.
We have 20 seconds between points, and you can either throw it away or you can really use it and get all of the possible benefit competitively from that precious 20 seconds. We want to see a microburst of recovery that's very distinct. So you deepen concentration just prior to the start of the point, and then when the point is finished, you can just see you have a very strong image, but you're allowing your brain to kind of dissipate a little bit, to relax, to recover, and then you focus it back again.